Hello everyone and welcome to the DanOCan YouTube channel. As you can tell, I'm recording here by the map light inside the car. I don't have anybody else with me today. I'm totally solo, and I'll explain why that is in a bit, but for now I'm going to turn the light off and just drive here. I'll talk to you after the sun comes up. Not sure if you'll be able to see this very well on camera, but we're just starting to get the first hints of some purples and reds there in the sky as the sun's getting ready to come up here. And I think we're still about half an hour or so from official sunrise. But the last few days on the drive to work, we have been treated to some beautiful red sunrises. So we'll see if this one matches up. Just making a little detour here to swing into Costco, get some fuel. This is usually the cheapest fuel in the city, but often too busy when I'm normally passing through here, so this is a bonus. Let's roll. I managed to successfully spill gasoline on my hand, so now I smell like a NASCAR race or something, but oh well. And this is what always amazes me about our trips into southern Alberta, and it's how I can be 200 kilometers from my destination, expected to arrive in just over 2 hours, yet I've already been on the road for 49 minutes, so a bulk of my drive is just within the city limits. Get you another look at that ever-changing sunrise there off to my left. Make this big sweeping turn here. Sunrise moves around to be in front of me. Then we're going to make another turn here and start heading south again. So the good news is I won't have that sunrise in my face as the sun actually peaks over the horizon. Well, it is 8:18 in the morning, which according to my watch is official sunrise. The sunrise really didn't amount to much today. It's kind of gray, muted, and overcast, which is probably appropriate for today's mission. So, as I think I mentioned in the opening, I'm on my way down to Lethbridge. And it's a solo trip today, and not for a fun reason. And there's a Petro-Canada over there, and that has a little bit of a tie into today, and I'll explain that in a bit. But for now, let's get into some detail. So yeah, I'm traveling solo. I am on my way for my uncle's funeral, or on my way to Lethbridge for my uncle's funeral. This was my Uncle Hoop. He was a brother of my dad's. Yeah, that's kind of the gist of it, you know, the gist of it in a nutshell. That seemed both repetitive and redundant. So I'll give you a little bit of background here. So oops, I just got a message coming in. I got to check that. Sorry. Oh, it's a text from Emily. Let's see what it says.
Wordle 1686 and 56. 2 white large square emojis, yellow square 3 white large square emojis, yellow square 6 white large square emojis, yellow square white large square yellow square 3 white large square emojis, 6 green square emoji. Do you want to reply?
No. Okay, where were we? So yeah, a little bit of background. My dad died fairly young. He was 57 years old back in 1990. And so as I myself approach 57. If that thought hasn't crossed my mind a few times, I'd be lying. But regardless, my dad named two of his brothers as the executors. My dad came from a fairly large family. He was the middle of 13 children. So he named two of his brothers, Casey and Hoop, as the executors of his will. And the two of them were really, really good to my sister and I throughout that time. I mean, I was really young. I was like 17 years old at the time. Hadn't even finished high school yet. And so the two of them were really, really good. And I always felt an obligation, if you will, to sort of represent my dad at family events after that. The tie-in to that Petro-Canada that we passed back there a ways is that when my Uncle Casey died, I was on my way to Lethbridge to go to his funeral, and basically the roads that day were so bad that that's where I turned around and headed home. It wasn't, I don't want to say it wasn't worth it, but it was too risky to continue the drive. So I missed Uncle Casey's funeral, but I am not going to miss Uncle Hoop's funeral. So that's why I'm traveling today. That's why I'm traveling solo today. So it's a little bit of a different video, and I know I've been saying that a lot lately with the Hawaii content and then a couple random thoughts from the road in Florida, with those having been the most recent videos I've uploaded. So I haven't done a traditional DanOCan road trip in a while, and this isn't going to be one of them, but I'm sure there will still be a few things that we can see along the way that will be of interest to you. I'm going to have to do those all on the way back. The funeral is scheduled for 11 o'clock this morning. I'm supposed to be meeting my mother at her house about 10, so that we have time to travel to the church and things. We're going to meet my sister there. Of course, I'm not going to film any of that or record any of that. Yes, I'm old enough to still call it filming. So yeah, that's going to be kind of that. We'll see what I see on the way back. I don't know how much daylight I'll have on the return trip because, you know, I'm hoping to catch up with some of my cousins and things on the after the service and whatnot. So I don't know how long that'll take. I don't know how long I'll stop and visit with my mother after the thing. So there's gonna be a lot of unknowns on today's trip, but I figured I'd bring you along anyway because, you know, why not? So being a Friday morning, it's mainly just me and the big trucks on the highway this morning. And of course, being south of High River, I always have to look off to my right to the horizon there in the west and look for the Azure grain elevator. No, that's not the color of it. That's the name of the siding where the elevator's located. And once we get past this rise, you should be able to zoom in there, or I'll digital zoom this in post-production. It's on private property. I've never really been able to get close to it. I've taken photos of it a few times from various distances, but it's other than Nanton, it's about the only grain elevator along this route anymore. I guess when I was doing my previous discussion about grain elevators, I forgot about Stavely. Stavely is south of Nanton, still painted in those classic Alberta wheat pool green colors. Sadly, doesn't have the logo anymore, as most of them don't. But yeah, Stavely's a really nice elevator, privately owned, good condition. Hopefully will be around for a long, long time, but it was remiss of me to overlook the Stavely grain elevator while talking about how few remain on this stretch of highway. And that may just be a symptom of how tired I am. With the travel for work and the RV show for work and work in general. This is my first day off in 12 days, and I think I've done something like 14 out of the last 16 days, or 16 out of 18. I even forget what the numbers are, but I haven't had a good solid stretch of days off here in a while. So it's kind of sad that it's a funeral that's going to get me a long weekend, but I was going to probably take today off anyway, just to get a break and get away from things. And that's kind of the reason there hasn't been a lot of new content yet here in 2026. There's just hasn't been time. The Bluebird Motel of Claresholm. We stayed there a few years ago. Some of those cabins that you just saw me pass by were actually moved from another motel in Calgary. Bluebird's not looking too good. I don't see any cars there. The sign used to have some words written on it that are no longer there. I hope it's still open and functioning, because it was a really cute motel when we stayed there a few years ago. I did a little bit of a video on it and the kind of the history of it, which I'll try and remember to link here when I post this. But one of the few classic roadside motels still remaining around this area, and yeah, it looked pretty grim as we drove by. Claresholm also has classic water tower, certainly a landmark for those of us who drive this highway on a regular basis. Long may it stand. And on the right side here is another classic motel. This one's always looked a little bit rougher than the Bluebird for sure, but this one actually has some cars in front, so. And here we go, probably one of the best entrances to a city in southern Alberta, or in Alberta that I can think of. Coming into Lethbridge here from the west, dropping down into the coulees. You've got the Lethbridge Viaduct, aka the high-level bridge there, whoops, off in the river valley. An iconic piece of railway infrastructure. Looks a little nicer in the summer sometimes when it's a little bit greener, but always feels like coming home, coming down into the river bottom here. And thanks to the magic of video editing, we are getting back on the road and starting our drive home once again. Figured I better leave early enough so that I can get most of the trip done while it's still daylight out. So, taking a different route back home, I've kind of detoured up the highway here. I'm going to be passing through Diamond City, which is the area where my dad's family originally settled when they moved from the Netherlands to Canada in 1952. And, you know, while I hesitate to say it was a good funeral, because really, is a funeral ever good? But it was a good opportunity to catch up with and reconnect with some cousins and family members that I haven't seen in a long time. In some cases, you know, we're now to the point where we're measuring the passage of time in decades, not years, since we've last seen each other. So it was good to catch up and share some tales, tell some lies. It was a good experience, even if it wasn't for the best reason. Neat old truck there on the side of the road. Funerals are always a good reminder to, you know, live your life, enjoy your life, take the time, look around, enjoy it while it lasts, and, you know, connect with the people close to you, and, you know, make sure you live the sort of life that when it's your time, people have a lot of good things to say about you. So I've just taken a little detour here off the highway, and I'm driving through Park Lake Provincial Park. Park Lake is an irrigation piece of infrastructure, if you will. And apparently, you know, the provincial park here dates back to the 1930s. It was one of the first, if not the first provincial park, or of those first provincial parks established in the province of Alberta, and I have not driven through here in many, many years. So I just wanted to kind of pull in and check it out while I still have some time. Not a lot of people around right now. There was another car there that had a few people in it. I think they must be birders because I saw them with cameras and long lenses. So just some rando people like myself checking out the sights here on a Friday afternoon. And it does look like there is a geocache hidden in here. So that's good. Not all provincial parks are very geocache friendly anymore. And I'm just gonna pull over here and see if we can find it. Plus I could use a stretch. Not that it's been a long drive so far, but I've done a lot of sitting today. Pretty windy out here, so I'm glad I have the proper camera and microphone to try and muffle some of that wind noise. Geocache is just 50 meters ahead here, so let me flip the camera around for you. A little bit of an oasis in the prairies here compared to the dry land all around us. Having some trees and a little bit of water way over in the distance there. Quite pleasant. Could do without this wind, but the wind is keeping the snow away, so you know what? I'm not going to complain. Yeah, according to the GPS, should just be around here somewhere. It says it's a small. That's about all I've looked at. I haven't read the description or anything about else or anything else about it yet. Let's see if there's something in the tree here. Not yet. Okay, so I broke down, checked the hint. Says it's hanging in a large spruce tree. Now, it was last found in October, so there's a good chance it's still here and I'm just missing it. Nope, nope, that's just a leaf. All right, well, if you see it, shout out, will you? Don't leave me hanging here. I could use your help. Still searching. It's nice that there isn't a lot of people around, so I'm not drawing any attention to myself while I wander around looking at this tree intently. I know you all can probably see it and you're yelling at your screens right now to find it, but I don't know. Oh, ow. I'm not seeing anything here in this tree. Maybe I need to look a bit lower. I might be concentrating too high. And I mean, there's also the possibility that it's fallen on the ground here. This wind can wreak havoc on a lot of things. Nothing yet. Trying a different tree here. This isn't the one that the coordinates were pointing me at, but I know I haven't spotted it in the other one, so it's like, well, let's try this one. There was no hints in any of the previous logs. I don't know, somehow I'm just missing it. I mean, when it comes to spruce trees, This one here that I'm pointing at now is the largest. It kind of makes sense that it would be around here. There's a little bit of a geo trail here where people have searched for it. They seem to come around to this side. Ow, stabbed myself with a branch. Well, I'm gonna have to get on the road here again soon. Plus it's, you know, it's not, there's no snow, but that wind is a little cold. And I'm not dressed as appropriately as I could be or should be for this temperature, because I expected to spend most of my time in the car. So you know what? Unfortunately, this one's gonna have to wait for another day. Of course, I say that and I can't resist continuing to look as I walk away. Just check out this tree here. You know, whole lot of nothing for me today. And I mean, that happens. You can't find them all. There is this other car here at what looks like the park office. Didn't see anybody associated with it. Probably just other folks out enjoying the day. And of course, we have the dump station over here. No tour of a campground is complete unless you see the dump station. Coming up here to the next small town. This is Nobleford, Alberta. Let's pull in. I haven't driven through here in a while. Home of the Noble Blade. I don't really know the full history of the Noble Blade, but I believe it was some sort of a plow implement improvement that really made plowing the prairies out here much more efficient. I should know the story. It's actually quite famous, but this is where that came from, the Noble Blade. So I just parked here in front of the municipal office, and you can see there they have the Noble Blade on some sort of plow, established or incorporated 1918. And of course, there is a geocache here. I think it's behind me in this little park that's on my map as Centennial Park. So let's go take a look. So here we go. Little write-up about the Noble Blade. I'll get in close so you can read it in detail. But basically, Charles Noble. Yeah. Development of the Noble Blade, a prototype that came out in 1936. Small factory was built and expanded several times, and the blade expanded throughout the North American grain belt. So there you go, the Noble Blade. On this side, Charles Noble. Town was actually named Noble, now Nobleford, in 1909. And here's some early photos, including the Noble Foundation in Nobleford. Looks like a classic old hardware store. Highly doubt the building still exists, but I wonder with a little research if I could find the original location of it. And here we go over here along this little park area. You have some more of these metal signs talking about the history of things. The Christian Reformed Church of Nobleford. I just want to take a moment to really appreciate the detail that's gone into this work here. So apparently this little area here is Legacy Lane. Fairly new. 2017. Okay, well, let's see what else we have here. Lethbridge County. Cattle ranching, and boy, I tell you, you can smell the cattle through some of those areas we just came through. Curling, soccer, and baseball. The Noble School. Back up so you can get a better look at it. And then this one here is the Nobleford Fire Department. Personal interest to me because I love all things related to the fire service. Nobleford Fire Department was organized in 1955. Stopped to find the geocache that was hidden on that side. Now move on to the Canadian Pacific Railway. CPR station was dismantled in the early 1980s, it says. And I know the grain elevator was torn down sometime, I want to say in around 2010. I have a picture of my old car here that I took in like 2006 or something, and there was still a grain elevator standing. And the Canadian soldiers. Great looking little town, little drugstore, Eddie's Pizza, the post office, and the DanOCan adventure mobile over here on the corner. So let's wander back that way and get on the road, take a drive through, see if we can find the major business district in town here, or the main street, and then make some more miles, shall we? This looks like it would have been the main street. Few open lots. Looks like the fire department here on the right. Nobleford Food Market over on the left side. The camera didn't spin that way to show it to you. There we go. Get your look at the food market there. And the other side of the street here. I imagine somewhere along here is where that original Noble factory would have been. As I suspected, it looks like the building's long gone. I mean, it might not have been along here. I'm just guessing. That looks like a old service station. Maxine's Kitchen, another restaurant. This is a neat building. It's a Nobleford Museum. We'll have to come back and check that out someday. Looks pretty interesting. Maybe that Noble factory would have been out here. This looks like it might have been more of the industrial center of town. I'll tell you what, let's put that on the list for a future video. We're going to come back. We'll visit the Nobleford Museum, and we will check out, see if we can do a little research into the Noble factory and where that factory would have been. Oh, look, there's a speeder over here on the left side. Well, that's pretty cool. All right, well, let's get back on the road. The battery in my camera is getting quite low, so we'll see how long I can go before it completely dies. Back on the road. Okay, the sun is starting to go down, and coming up on the right side of the highway here, we have an absolute landmark along Highway 2 in southern Alberta. Everyone kind of has their own name for it, but I call it the Happy Face Barn. And as we get closer, you'll probably see why. The name kind of gives it away. It has a happy face painted on it, and I was going to say at Christmas it's usually lit up, and it looks like they have it lit up now. So this is a milepost for me. I always know that when I pass the Happy Face Barn, I am just about an hour and 20 minutes from home. So yeah, an hour and 20 minutes to go to get home. I'm not going to make you ride that whole distance with me. I'm going to get home. I'm going to see Emily. I'm going to see Mabel. I'm really looking forward to staying home tomorrow and having a relaxing day, my first one at home in a long time. And yeah, so not the happiest of days, but overall still a really good day. Anytime you get to connect with people and connect with family again, take that opportunity. It's worth it. Remember, live the life that you want people to talk about when you're gone. And live life the fullest while you're still here. And with those thoughts in mind, we'll see you in the next video.